Judging by the last witness that we saw, Dr. Flokwe, I think most of us at this point maybe underutilizing our dentists. We may be. I'm telling you, I feel like honestly, if a dentist is supposed to do half the things that Dr. Flokwe said he did for accused number two's dental assessment, we may not be getting value for our money if that's the mandate for dentists.
I am woman, I am fearless, I am sexy, I'm divine, I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey, you can get it.
So hello there, how are you doing? My name is Pelmot Habani. Welcome back. If you remember a while ago, we learned that at some point accused number two, Bongani Ntanzi, he was taken to a dentist to try and establish if he has had a gold tooth, any dental work that was undone. So it comes out that he was indeed taken to a dentist, a Dr. Flokwe. The mandate for the doctor was to examine the accused specifically to try and establish if he has had a gold tooth, any dental work that was undone, or if he has had any dental work that has been removed. Now, based on the doctor's testimony, it does appear that he went and did a lot more. I mean, from the very onset, he told the court that as a dentist, he assesses a patient from the waist up. I mean, he lost me there. I don't know about you, but I think a lot of us were just lost there from the waist up because we're expecting for him to talk about teeth, which is something that I didn't know before. I mean, I've been to dentists for many years. None of the dentists has ever looked at anything outside of my mouth. But I guess things are changing. Maybe dentists are getting a lot more scope into what they can do for dental assessments. Then he was talking about checking for any disabilities and any abnormalities, checked for bruising around the neck, checked the joint between the jaws and the skull. That was very intensive. Checked for any swollen lymph nodes, checked the lips, the colors of the lips, signs of trauma on the lips. Yeah, it sounded more to me like he was sick, or he was trying to check for signs of assault rather than looking for a gold tooth or whether a gold tooth has been there. Did COVID screenings, HIV screenings, the whole 9 yards. Now, for something like the COVID test, with the COVID test, I can totally understand how that may have been important back in 2020. I mean, hospitals here literally had a tent outside to ensure that everyone coming to the hospital, they first go through the tent to be screened for COVID before they can even proceed towards the entrance of the hospital. It was that serious. So that one I understand. It was necessary. But as for others, I've never really seen them form part of a dental exam, an HIV test. For a general medical exam, yes. All those things matter. The general medical exam, the blood pressure is very important. The pulse rate is very important. Even the blood work, the whole shebang with the blood work, it's very necessary in a general exam. I've never seen it happen in a dental work. But I guess, I'm not a doctor. For me, it did look a bit like he went beyond the scope of what was requested. He did go beyond the scope of what was requested of him, which was an oral cavity exam. So it turns out that the doctor graduated in 2019, and the exam was done in June 2020. Yeah. So this was a student. He was even making reference to a module that they took back at school at Medunsa. Jesus, he was so inexperienced. There was a very, very stark difference between him and the brigadier. I know it's not very comparable. The brigadier has been on this system for 30 years. He knew how to manipulate the the answers. He was over explaining, but he locked them out totally. He was over explaining and just locking them out. But with this doctor, they were having a field day. Oh my God, they had a field day. He was like he was trying to explain, and then he was just digging and digging himself inside a deep hole. I was feeling sorry, like I was cringing and cringing. I kept saying, stop him, like somebody stop him from talking. Literally, with each and every one of his explanations, he was attracting so many questions from the defense. And one of the checks that really, really caught him with the defense was one where he said he was checking for signs of assault and admitting to have done a comprehensive medical assessment, which he was trying to deny. He was saying he didn't say that. Of course, he didn't say that. Him and Baloi, but now Nisi was hanging on to that one. He was hanging on to it because he was saying, you admitted to having done a comprehensive medical exam when you were supposed to have done a dental assessment, which means you infringed on the accused's privacy. I mean, they even had to revisit the court recordings to just confirm that he indeed admitted to having done a comprehensive medical exam. Had he just stuck to the brief, this poor guy, had he just stuck to the brief and talked about, finding out that there was an extraction of a premolar and a molar in the accused's mouth, he wouldn't have had to answer all these questions about assault. He wouldn't have had to answer questions about whether there were signs of assault, whether the accused was chewed, whether there were any injuries. Like typically, these are not within the scope of any dentist. But he opened up that can of worms for himself. He did. He's the one who talked about all of these things. Then he opened it up for the floor. The defense was having a field day on his expertise or lack thereof. Sure. But I think the judge saved him. Poor guy. He saved him from Advocate Mshololo, because Mshololo was coming in with the same direction that Nisi had, and Nisi already had a field day. Mshololo was coming again to try and insist that he fabricated his story, he's fabricating his facts. So the judge was like, enough. You have already said he doesn't have expertise. Nisi has already said that. So can we move forward? But yeah, I think also some of these things can show you that even to some extent the defense is a little bit inexperienced. Some of the things that the things that they were asking, they were not adding any value to the they were not adding any value to the case. Trying to dig and dig and dig on one point, it doesn't add any value to your case. It didn't. So I think even the judge did see that, no, let's just stop this. Because he was even telling them, one day when this case is over, you're going to look back at these things and you would have gained experience. You are going to look back and you wish you had asked some of these questions differently. Because he could see that they were just getting a lot of excitement about asking the same thing, about trying to make one point that you are fabricating, or maybe you don't have the expertise to speak on this. Because that's all that they were saying. That's all they were saying. You don't have the expertise to speak on this subject. And that was the only point. But they took that point and lengthened it, literally. Lengthened it for hours. I guess that's how trials go. I'm sure the poor doctor wishes he had done some form of media training. He was even trying to shout back at the defense. He was shouting back at Munisi. But I think, for me, the take home for this from this witness is do not go on the wrong side of the law. Don't do that. Don't do it, because you might just find yourself being taken to a doctor for literally what? For a toothache. You're going to come out without a tongue. Like he's going to literally just chop out your tongue and do something that he was not supposed to do. Anyway, let me have your thoughts on this very, very overly engaged dentist. I mean, he started being labeled fake dentist the moment he said waist up. The moment he said waist up, the comments were like fake, fake, fake. Yo. But anyway, thank you for your time. I do appreciate you. Please remember to subscribe and like, as well as comment down below. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.